Okay, so we're now at that point where we are officially done with Operation Zero Tolerance, right? And so the next crossover is going to be the hunt for Xavier. Now, here's the thing, because there are a few storylines that kind of lead into that crossover, but there's not many of them when it comes to working our way up to that crossover. And so technically for us, we should be able to get there pretty quickly. My goal is by the end of September, like we should be done with Hunt for Xavier and going on to the next crossover after that one. I could be wrong here because, things happen in the real world. But anyways, today's video, we're going to sit down and cover a Wolverine story that was done by Warren Ellis right after Operation Zero Tolerance, and it's called Not Dead Yet, a 4-part storyline. Now, when it comes to Not Dead Yet, the first chapter does start off 10 years in the past. Now, when it came to Wolverine, he had arrived in Hong Kong 10 years ago, but he met a woman, and her name is Ai Chia Wong, and I really hope I pronounced that correctly. Now, unfortunately, she's not really around long enough for us to care about the character, but when it came to Wolverine, he also met somebody else at the bar, better known as the White Ghost, or his real name, Roddy McLeish. But of course, I love the idea of the White Ghost. Now, when it comes to Wolverine and the White Ghost, they were kind of able to sit down with one another and share their different stories about, their past killings, how they're both great killers. Now, unfortunately, for Wolverine, he has to go. And the reason why, because the man got a date with his girl for the night. But at least for Wolverine, he was able to find a friend at this bar and share different stories with that person. But either way, for Wolverine, he was then able to go on his date with his new girlfriend. Now, when it came to Wolverine and his new girlfriend, they left the movies early to go back home. Now, when they did, they had discovered that somebody had killed off her father. Now, her father had an important role when it came to the movie industries in Hong Kong. But anyways, for Logan, he realized who had killed off this man. It was no other than the White Ghost. And really, when it came to the White Ghost, he was studying Wolverine. He realized every single Thursday, him and his girlfriend go to the movies, but they always came back home late. The one time they didn't come home back late was the time where you had the White Ghost decide to go after his target. Now, for Logan, he does try to chase down the White Ghost, but it does seem like the White Ghost was able to get away, but only for a short period of time. Because right after you have the White Ghost meet up with the person who had hired him, you had Logan being able to find the White Ghost just like that. Now, here's the thing, because you had Wolverine drove his motorcycle to crash right on top of the White Ghost. There's gasoline leaking all over the boat at the moment. But the guy who hired the White Ghost tried to shoot Wolverine, except when he fired his gun, boom, there was an explosion. And so for Logan, he was left to believe the White Ghost had officially died that night. And so as we transition over to the present day, it's really more of us now seeing Logan still trying to achieve the goal where he's part of the X-Men, but he wants to have a life away from the X-Men. So he got his own apartment. The problem is that when he comes home to his apartment, he finds a dead body on his bed. But on top of that, he realized there's a photo on the dead body. In that photo is Ai Chia Wong's father, the man who died 10 years ago by the hands of the White Ghost. But it's also Logan realizing that his apartment was rigged to blow. And so you had Logan being able to escape, but just barely. But this leads into another flashback. Now, with this flashback, we are establishing the White Ghost knows about Logan being different. And the reason why, because when it came to the White Ghost, he saw somebody attack Logan. The blade broke, but also Logan was able to heal up very easily. But for the White Ghost, he kind of realized that nobody took the right strike when it came to killing off Wolverine to finish the job. And for the White Ghost, he believes he knows where to cut to hopefully kill off Logan. Now, for Logan, he thinks of the White Ghost as the best killer of the world because technically at that time, the White Ghost was. And so for Logan in the present day, he knows that the white ghost will then go after the different people who are close to Logan. And so for Logan, he begins to freak out. Now, as we dive into the second chapter, it's really more of us seeing Wolverine just freaking out because for Logan, it's him trying to figure out what to do. Like, what is his next move? He has to get his bike, get out of New York, and find the different people that the white ghost most likely go after. Except while you have Logan trying to get away, you then have two cars appear. These two cars are able to pin Wolverine right in the middle of both their hoods. Now, for Logan, he begins to remember another flashback of a conversation he had with the white ghost. And with this conversation, it's Logan kind of remembering that he told the white ghost about his berserker rage. Now, that right there is really important because it's the idea that the berserker rage is where Wolverine just lets loose. It does not matter your friend or foe. If you're in front of Wolverine while he's in that berserker rage mode, you are going to die or get severely injured. And so for Logan, is him kind of wondering, is this the white ghost trying to bring him into berserker rage mode? Because for the white ghost, he knows about Wolverine's healing factor. He knows that Wolverine is not a normal human. He now knows also that Wolverine has this berserker rage inside of him. Now, you do have Logan being able to get to his bike. And once he does get his hands on his bike, he does leave Manhattan and he does begin to head upstate. Now, while you do have Logan try to head upstate, we did switch over to this random cabin out in the middle of the woods. And when it comes to this cabin, we do pick up with some mysterious character hiding in the shadows. And this mysterious character is getting a call by the update about Logan, how Logan's right now on his way over to that area. But we're kind of left to believe that this is the white ghost because it's him saying like, I had all this time to plan an attack against you. I had all this time to think about how I want to kill you or how I'm going to kill you. And now my whole entire plan is coming together. So again, we're kind of left to believe that this is the white ghost coming back to life. Now, as we dive into the third chapter, we're really getting into the idea of the white ghost in another flashback, kind of expressing his love with the idea of murder, but also the idea of how great of a killer he truly is. And so it's kind of like this flashback is playing in Wolverine's mind because it's now Wolverine kind of realizing that if the white ghost is truly back in the picture at the moment, that means for Wolverine that most likely he's in trouble because the white ghost will not stop until he's able to win. But the problem is that back in the present day for the white ghost, he knew that for Logan, after being confronted in New York and being kind of told like, hey, the white ghost is back, for Logan, he had no idea that the white ghost knew where he would go next because up the road that Wolverine is traveling, there are mercenaries out there. They got bullets that are covered in adamantium ready to be used against Logan. And so when Logan has arrived in that part of the road, bam, just like that. Bullets are flying towards him because these guys got adamantium bullets to hopefully take him out, but they were given to them by the white ghost. It's Logan realizing that for the white ghost, he has been observing Wolverine for 10 years. He had 10 years to plan this. But now we're given another flashback, and this flashback is really important because for Wolverine, it's him saying goodbye to his girlfriend Aichia. And the reason why, because, well, as y'all know, well, her father died by the hands of the white ghost. But it's the fact the white ghost had technically used Logan as a way to learn more about his target, which was her father. And so with the idea that Logan was somehow involved in the idea of the death of her father. For her, she can't be with Logan. She can't touch Logan. She can't even look at Logan. And so as you have Logan saying goodbye and heading back over to Canada, it really shows like their relationship was never truly able to recover. And so unfortunately, they had to go their separate ways. Now, there is a special reason why this flashback right now is being shown. Because as we do transition back to the present day, we're really picking up with Logan right now after taking out those mercenaries, right? But after doing that, you then have Logan begin to hear all these different recordings that the White Ghost left behind to kind of confirm, like, yes, the White Ghost is technically back in the picture once again. But here comes the problem because as you have Wolverine walking around, he finds the dead body of Achia, his girlfriend from 10 years ago. Now, this right here pushes Wolverine into that berserker rage. And so it's now him in the final chapter of the storyline going after the White Ghost. But now we transition into the final chapter, right? Now, as we dive into the final chapter of the storyline, we're really getting into the idea of Wolverine arriving at this village. Now, when he does arrive at this village, it's the White Ghost just on the loudspeaker constantly talking to Wolverine, just trying to say, like, he is this true killer. He's a crazy killer. He loves the idea of killing. Now, when it comes to the White Ghost, we do learn here that the dude was part of the Triad. Now, we also learn how the White Ghost had supposedly survived. You see, we learn here that when it came to the White Ghost, the reason why he was able to survive is because, well, when the motorcycle did crash on top of him, it didn't kill him. It just crushed him. And when it exploded, it didn't blow him up. It shot him into the water. Now, his back was shattered, but he was found by the Triad. Now, when it came to Triad, they helped him build this 10-year murder plan, right? But the thing is, for the White Ghost, what he wanted to do is two things. First off, he wanted to make sure that his spot is saved because if he had died, somebody else in the Triad did have the ability to take his spot as the best killer for the Triad. He can't have that, right? But also, he wanted Wolverine to have that spot, but it also kind of show that Wolverine is this wild beast, this wild animal. But this leads into the idea where you have Wolverine go inside this building, right? And when he does, well, he's confronted by not the White Ghost. Now, we're kind of left to believe at first that this is the White Ghost's son, but you have Wolverine go out of his way to kill this guy. Now, I also kind of believe that this is the son of the guy who was with the White Ghost on the boat, who was paying the White Ghost off for finishing the job. But either way, you have Wolverine kill off that guy and move on because technically the White Ghost is still in that building. And so, as we get into the ending of the storyline, the book really does end on the note where it's the White Ghost saying, like, I won. Like, my goal was to drive you mad. My goal was to make you a wild animal, but to also kill you or try to kill you at least. Now, for Wolverine, he kind of knows to play mind games with, well, White Ghost by saying that, listen, back then you always wondered what my job was, but I never told you what my job was. Well, I work for Canadian intelligence. But the thing is, I had you figured out a long time ago. But also, I realized you never did mention your son. But the thing is, I met your son. Now, for the White Ghost, he believes that his son is still alive somewhere in Colombia. You have Wolverine say, no, your son is dead. I killed him. And the thing is, I pity you because you're somebody who's just on this crazy, thing that he has to be alive or he must keep his reputation at a very good level. You hate the idea of being remembered as somebody who was replaced or somebody who could possibly be forgotten. Now, once you do have Logan being able to wow up the White Ghost, you have Logan being able to kill off the White Ghost just like that. And the book ends on that note. And so you're kind of like, oh, that's just it. Now, for me, it's still a good story, but I wouldn't put this up there in my top 10 like Wolverine stories. But with that being said, guys, please leave me a like down below and subscribe. But guys, see y'all next time. Later.